Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 2 of Akcess All Areas. The guest this week, this is the clue. It's, of course, Tom George, ladies and gentlemen.
Woo! Woo!
I feel like we should also say Ollie Thorley's here as well. But move quickly on, quickly move past this. I feel like a fraud, so I'm going to give you this back to the rightful neck. I've never done a thing in my life to earn a medal, especially of that stature.
You want me to wear it? Do I?
It's impressive, isn't it? The weight of it.
Yeah, it's heavy.
The girth to it's impressive. Ollie, get that girth.
That is considerable.
Get that girth around your neck.
I'm going to give that a little wear.
Yeah. It's really meaty, isn't it?
Yeah, it is meaty, definitely.
Is it true that they've got it's got bits of the Eiffel Tower?
That bit there, yeah, it's the Eiffel Tower.
And yours hasn't started to corrode because some of the gold started to corrode, didn't they?
Yeah, they're all made with silver.
Oh, is that right?
And then they're plated, the bronze and the gold ones.
So
the plating is what goes.
You didn't really want the gold then, did you?
Yeah, no.
That would have corroded by now and you would have had it
exactly,
anyway.
So it'd be silver anyway.
It's softer, isn't it? You get scratches on it. Yeah, you don't want that.
The Tokyo one's, I got a bronze Tokyo that's like knackered. So.
Oh, God, throw that one away.
Yeah, exactly.
Replace it with that one on the mantelpiece.
Yeah.
If you are throwing it away, I'll take it.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got none of them.
I've got your number now, so yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me.
For those out there, I guess, who might not have seen you celebrate with the Gloucester flag, explain, I guess, why you're here and why we've managed to snag you on a rainy Tuesday afternoon.
I guess I've been a lifelong Gloucester fan. I grew up in the area. I think I first came, I was 6 or 7 with Dad, and those were the days when you could properly hang over the advertising boards in the shed. I remember it being freezing cold. Gloucester played Wasps. Lawrence Delalio was in the ranks here. So this is a long time. I'm showing my age a little bit here, aren't I? Yeah, I've got to be careful.
Good.
Yeah.
A real fan, that's what.
Yeah, and so then since then, just try come back. I think I've been to a game every season.
That's not, yeah.
Since then, try and come a few times a season with Dad, and then a couple of times with other mates. So yeah, it's nice to get back.
And this relationship,
obviously, and I get to watch Ol tear it up.
Yeah. So you've known each other for a long time now, haven't you?
Yeah. Ol ran over me, I think.
Yeah, we played back in our school days and stuff.
Exactly.
So I think were you 12?
Yeah.
12. I was. That was when I was a centre.
Yeah.
It was always one of the biggest. It was always one of the biggest fixtures. Well, maybe for us, it might not be for you guys, but it was always one of the biggest fixtures of the year for us. So.
Yeah, I came into a game with a huge reputation as a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
And I naively was not sure, and then the way he hit, I was like, I'm done. That retired me pretty much.
It's something else.
I'll never play rugby again.
I can only imagine he did the same at schoolboy level he did when he arrived with us as well. You sort of think it's a joke at first, don't you? You think, he's going to stop this soon, and then he doesn't stop that, and he keeps going, and he keeps running into people harder and harder.
But now I get to stand in the shed and yell at him to keep going, and that's great, and that's the best place to be, you know.
Yeah, were you there when he scored his famous try against Leicester all those years ago?
I was not.
He scored many a famous try.
Not just one. The length of the Cotswolds.
Yeah, not just one famous try. Yeah, Kyle Eastman's on his backside, the length of the Cotswolds.
Did they get him into the Gold Cup that year?
Did they get Ollie in?
Yeah.
He was in that sort of form.
Yeah, it was in that sort of form. Too firm underfoot. Yeah.
Likes it heavy underfoot.
Yeah, exactly.
So obviously growing up playing together, and you've both gone on to separate sporting paths. Ollie, was rowing ever an option for you at school?
So I did actually. I did do some rowing at school for a year. In fact, the coach was a guy called Tristan. Do you know Tristan McLaughlin?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So he was a fantastic coach.
I'll ask the questions.
Sorry. Sorry. Apologies.
Yeah, that's all right.
I think it's
mostly
medals.
You're getting a bit too confident.
I'm like,
you stick to
stepping out of my station. So I had some really good coaching. It's interesting seeing how different sports operate. I mean, the training in rowing is on another level. We obviously, it's rugby's hard in different ways, isn't it? The contact, that side of the game, and yes, there is a aerobic side to it, but the rowing training was on another level. So I decided I would stick to the power sports, and
And Tom, I think it'd be remiss not to touch on Paris. Obviously, what a fantastic achievement for us. So we've been talking about that for the last few hours. You've not stopped mentioning your silver medal.
Brilliant.
No, in all seriousness, an incredible achievement. Can you just sort of talk us up to the 6 weeks leading? Obviously, everyone knows the the levels of training, Ollie said it, that what you've gone through for the last 3 or 4 years to be there, but sort of the 6 weeks in and around Paris, sort of the few weeks before and the few weeks after,
and a few weeks after,
how's that's impacted
I
your
guess
life?
it's a bit of a melting pot because for us, we go away on a training camp about a month, 5 weeks before the Olympics start, and from that point on, you're basically not in the UK. I think so we went to Austria for like an altitude training camp, and we work very hard up there, and then you come back, you have sort of 2 days in the UK, then you're off to Portugal, and that's like the final camp, and that's the aim of that. It's just ultimately just to like get some good weather and like some good water, but kind of just avoid the like want for social interactions, just like stay away. You don't want to get sick. You get kind of like almost a bit paranoid about things like that. You know, you don't want to get sick in the lead up. You don't want to, the temptations of the world to get to you. So then, and then I think we headed out to Paris 9 days before we started racing. So you come back, and then we Eurostart over there. So head out to Paris, and then it's just like into the rhythm. Try and get into the rhythm as quickly as possible out there. And so that after that 9 days, like competition starts. We didn't stay in the village for our competition. We stayed outside the village, because our venue was out near Disneyland. So we stayed out there, and it was probably the right decision performance-wise. Obviously, you feel like you're missing out maybe on some of the certain things in the village, but we did the village in Tokyo, and it is completely mental. And everyone's just running around. There's like so much stuff to do all the time, and people are just running all over the place. So I think just
stuff to do,
yeah, it is just like I think Tokyo that like ASICS had were trying to like mold shoes to people's feet, but it took like 45 minutes. But obviously everyone wanted to do that because you didn't want to miss out on that. So
Just on the idea that you said like they tried to sort of remove you for a few weeks before. We talked about it earlier. The 4 years leading up to it, and then you are thrust into this bubble of sort of celebrity status for a month or so.
Yeah.
And how's that to deal with, and how do sort of different characters have to get used to that? I guess a lot of people are very uncomfortable with that after a lot of the sports are in the shadows for most of
it's
of
a pretty
their time.
sedate, quiet lifestyle normally, and then I guess you just have to keep the focus on performance and focus on getting the best out of yourselves. Like for us in rowing, especially, like there were 50,000 people at the rowing lake. Like you'd never have anything like that. Anything near that in rowing is sort of like maybe 250 to maybe 1,000 for the World Championships finals. So to have that, it can be off-putting. It can be it can catch you off guard. So I think you just need to focus into the performance. I think that's something that the learnings from the first to the second Olympics were pretty massive on that, of understanding that it doesn't, like all the other stuff that's going on, is just sort of fluff. It's about like performing and getting the best out of yourself when the time comes.
You're obviously very, very focused performance, and it's led to massive success. When you're going into a place like the Athletes' Village, that makes me smile just saying it.
Yeah.
I can only imagine there's people in the team, they're more worried about the focus of maybe losing focus. When you're looking around that GB squad, is there people going like, he should not be in the Athletes' Village, she should not be in the Athletes' Village, they should maybe just helicopter in for their event, straight back out. Because I could pick some out of this squad that should not be going
some
into
loose
the Athletes'
cannons, basically.
Yeah, some loose cannons. I think in like our team was pretty good by the time we got there, especially. I guess
the loose cannons have probably been.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They'd all sort of not made it
Fallen
that far,
by the wayside.
probably. Yeah. The second week, definitely, you can sort of treat as you like. There's a lot of parties in town. Everyone, every nation has a house. So it's like the Team GB house and the Team Ireland house and the Team USA house, and they will host events every night that you can go to. And so in the second week, you can certainly cut loose. And I think that was the big thing that we didn't have in Tokyo, but you did have here, was being able to be like, we can stay for the second week. So even if you want to tear it up now, just like,
give it a few days.
Yeah, calm down. It'll be fine. It'll still be there next week.
Are there any sports? I'm doing the question asking again. Are there any sports that you reckon are like there's a higher number of these loose cannons? Like, what sports do you want to stay clear of? Is it like ping pong? Are the ping pong?
The ping pong. The guys
do you know what I mean?
Off the charts.
Like mental ping pong.
Ping pong lads.
I can see that.
I guess like rugby sevens has come in, and they've brought a few of the. The sort of rugby lad culture.
drinking through vessels that they shouldn't
Yeah,
be
like,
drinking through and things like that.
someone told me the Serbian water polo team was absolutely, yeah.
Are they?
See that, yeah.
So like I don't, yeah.
Swimmers, I always feel like swimmers, because they're at the start, is that bad press
Yeah,
that they do theirs and then go bananas for the next few weeks?
I think a lot of them left actually.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, well, because swimming and athletics are in a weird position where that's not the end of their season. So they carry on training because there's more to do. So I guess for rowing, like the whole cycle builds to the Olympics.
Yeah.
Whilst everything else, and I guess it's probably a money thing, right? Of like, those sports, they have sponsors, they have a lot of investment. So people want more events, keep moving these athletes are like an asset ultimately. So whilst for us, it's kind of like you get to the end of the cycle and it's like, okay, we'll just have a few beers and like have a good time, yeah.
Well, we were very proud to see you waving the Gloucester flag.
Yeah.
How did that come to be? Just a final question on the Olympics. How did that end up with the Gloucester flag when celebrating?
Steve Kitchen, he gave it to me.
Oh, mate.
And he came down and we did like a feature down at Caversham at our training centre, and he gave that to me. And it was just a really cool moment where he just literally the last thing, he was like, I brought you this. I thought it was pretty cool for you to have out in Paris. And I was just like, it's like one of those sort of like where you're from moments, and it was nice. So
we were very proud to see the Gloucester flag waving, weren't we, Ollie? That was a cool moment. But it's essentially the Olympic final for the Gloucester fans this weekend.
Yeah.
You know that, don't you?
I do, yeah.
And I guess you want to touch on a little bit of rugby. We have to do it.
Yeah.
Gloucester Bath Gloucester. Okay.
Yeah.
We've got a fan, lifelong fan. We've got a lifelong fan, but also 10-year veteran at the club. What does it mean these days? We'll start with the player fan. What does it mean? And you don't have to lie. We don't do lies on this. There's no fluff.
No fluff.
What does it mean to the players still, Ollie? Like as a Bath Gloucester Bath.
I think you always know that whether you're playing at the Rec or whether you're playing at Kingsholm, it's going to be a sellout. It's going to be feral in the crowd, and you know that there's a huge amount of bragging rights, like both within the playing group and also like with amongst the fans over this one game. So almost regardless of what happens in the rest of the season, if you do Bath, you're doing something right. So there's that side of it, and there's also a bit like we all know, like Bath has spent a lot of money. They've got some like superstars in their team. They're probably I don't know what the stats are, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're the biggest spenders in the league.
Oh wait, yeah, they are. Yeah.
They're the biggest. They're the biggest spenders in the league, and I think it plays into this whole like narrative of like Bath being the posh bit of the West Country, whereas like Gloucester, we've got a point to make.
I do you know what?
I do still feel that when I'm playing.
I think it's bang on. You make that point because obviously you Cheltenham College, you at Radley. It's just fantastic. It's fantastic that we've got you two. You two poor. But it's good to have you two paupers on the sofa to make sure. To make sure we stand for what Gloucester's all about.
Yeah.
No, in all seriousness, Tom, as a lifer, as a lifer shedder, like you said, you're there, you get there constantly, even when you've been living abroad. What does that mean? Seeing Bath come here.
50 on Bath a couple of years ago.
64,
I
think. And we weren't counting.
Yeah, we weren't counting, and that's the problem, isn't it? That we're too clued in on it. Yeah. But I think like Ol said, the expenditure that they've put in and the amount that they've paid for the squad, like as a fan, I guess it's just interesting. Obviously, like we'd all love to be doing that, but within the sort of the spirit of the game. I
like it.
But I think they probably want to like look down on us a little bit now, and be like, we're Bath, we're trying to challenge for the title. We're sort of in that realm, and they might not perceive us in the same way. So I think it's always good when you come down here and from the other side of the pitch to we can of the fence, we can yell and sort of give them a bit of a heckle. I think that they've always been a good team, and that rivalry runs pretty deep. And I don't know. Do we know what the overall like score is?
We'll we'll add it to the bottom of the screen here, inserted just there where you just said that.
Well, so I think it's just like it's a cool tradition that has run for a long time, which adds a lot to it.
On that point, as a fan, you've seen a transition like we talked about. We've probably not played the rugby that we've wanted to play, especially the last 18 months or so. What about this new sort of style and brand you're starting to see? We talked about the fact that you were on the golf course in America a couple of weeks ago, listening to it on your phone. That's commitment, by the way. Listening to it on the phone in America.
I think it was
probably
a Bristol.
Going to be slightly hair-raising at times, but does this excite you? Are you enjoying seeing the change and the transition?
Definitely, and I think it's just exciting to see like the guys want to. I'm going to say want to have a go. I don't think that, obviously it's not for a lack of trying ever, but it's just exciting to like run in tries, play expansive open rugby. Obviously you're going to concede points, but you're hopefully going to score a lot more as well. And I think that that's pretty special for the fans, at least, to watch. You know, it's like you're not going to go down without like asking. You know, you're always going to ask questions and make sure you know all the answers. And sometimes you're going to lose games, but sometimes you're going to win games. I think like the Gloucester sort of spirit is that we've like never we've never asked for a team that like wins all the time, just that always gives their best. And so I think that it's cool to see. The first 3 games of the season have been pretty wild seesaw affairs. Sort of jumped back into the Saracens game right at the end, didn't we? And then obviously held off Bristol, and then probably got unlucky last weekend. But it's cool to see the development of the team and the squad as the new faces come in, but as like the older hands sort of keep their sort of irons in the fire and keep pushing forward. Yeah.
That's do you know what? You've summarised it brilliantly, Ollie. We are going to fire a few questions, aren't we? So these are Olympic-related questions.
Sure.
Don't overthink it.
Yeah.
Throw a couple of people under the bus. They're not going to be listening.
Yeah.
So, Ollie, do you want to go first? Just fire them in.
Who would be best man to take on tour from the GB Olympic team?
Apart from myself, obviously.
Apart from yourself, absolute legend.
Yeah. I think. I'd love to go out with someone like Adam Peaty. I reckon he gets pretty loose. Yeah. If you're like looking for that side of things, any of the rugby lads, the sevens guys, they're just like they hunt in a pack. They stay together.
You want to be in that pack,
yeah.
don't you? Yeah.
Well, it's just like interesting to see, you know.
Different.
Mika Richards always fancied himself. Right? I saw him talking about when he did 2012 and being like, "Yeah, I was the guy. I wanted to be the guy for Team GB. Like, anyone wants to go out, I'll be there." So. Maybe it's him.
Maybe it's Mika.
Maybe it's Mika Richards. He gets his podcast somewhere, so he might be tuning in.
Who was most impressive as an athlete who could change discipline potentially? Who could maybe step into a different sport or a different arena and still go well?
Some of the sprinters are pretty phenomenal. They're also quite like a loose bunch. They'd be good fun to take out on tour. So I'll throw them in the 4x100 metre relay team.
And on the ping pong?
No, the ping pong guys, I'm not sure. Maybe, what was he called? Drinkle. He was, Paul Drinkle, I think was his name.
They didn't fancy it, no?
No, I don't think so.
Too loose, if anything.
Too loose, yeah. Drinks all, literally, So I think those guys are pretty special athletes, and the things that they can do and the speeds they can hit are pretty incredible. And I think they've all come through like football academies, and they've been sort of there or thereabouts.
What position, if you started to take up the game again?
Yeah.
Bit of rugby, what position would you step in at?
Kit manager.
Kit manager, nice.
Yeah.
What, head to toe? Yeah. He has been, just to confirm, he was asked to come in dressed like this today. He did say, he did make a point of saying, this is fresh on today.
This was requested,
It has been washed, and we did ask him to come with his medal. He doesn't just take it on the bus everywhere he goes.
Exactly. I'm not sure I'm cut out for the game anymore, I think. I love watching it. I just think that first hit would come in and it'd be like,
back hips.
Yeah. In the NFL, they like have that concussion tent and they like pop it up. Yeah. They need to bring that into right. It's like, he's got to go to the tent. Oh no. You know.
I mean, that had a bit of drama.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. And then it's like the independent doctors in there.
We could try the tent. You know,
that'd be quite exciting.
You're just like, is he going to come out the tent?
Make a thing out of someone's.
They do the same thing at Cheltenham races as well, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
They do. That's a different tent. Come on.
Is it? Well, I'm just saying, like, it's the same sort of thing, isn't it? Same. If, as a Gloucester fan, head on, if you could sign one player to Gloucester this year, joins the squad now, playing on Saturday from the Premiership, who would it be?
From the Premiership?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Outside the Premiership, I'd love to see Paolo Garbisi. in
Exciting.
a Gloucester shirt, just like a bit of Italian flair.
Yeah, and then just from the question I asked.
Yeah, just from sorry. Well, it's just like Garbisi. I've talked about him a lot. Question I've asked. I think I don't know. We're doing quite well in the back row. This Guy Pepper down at Bath's doing quite a good job, and he's a young kid.
You're thinking future as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
You're
exactly.
You're building it right. I like that.
And like,
You're putting the squad together sort of Moneyball type way.
Well, it's sort of a Moneyball type way, isn't it? Except that I'm sure that that's not going to stay that way for long. Otherwise, you'd love like an out-and-out England man in there somewhere. I'm not sure who that. Alex Mitchell would be quite nice. We're doing well at 9 though. We breed nines in the West Country. Yeah, so we're playing them on the wing at some points. So yeah.
So no, just Garbisi.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Oh, I said Alex Mitchell would be pretty good.
That. Top, you've been amazing. Thank you so much for coming in,
thanks
Ollie.
for having me. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks as always.
Thanks for having me.
We didn't even mention the
straight to the
sauna.
sauna.
Yeah, we didn't even mention the sauna.
Straight to the sauna, is it? Is that what we're doing?
I think
the Chronicles of Saunas.
Yeah.
I'm in the book somewhere.
You've got a number of books.
Three or four entries in the saunas.
Few entries, and you've had a few Gloucester players in there, haven't you?
Yeah. We were just saying we did a pretty intense one with Chibber, with James Hansen,
and then we got in there with Ed Slater.
Yeah, we had one with Ed. Yeah,
pretty cool. I've never met Ed, and then I met him again actually at Spotty. And saw him at Sports Personality and just sort of had a chat with him, which was.
And he just said, "You've got clothes on."
Yeah, he did. Yeah, literally, he was like,
"You look so different in your pants."
Yeah, exactly.
Oh well, that's what a sauna brings people together.
It does. It brings people together.
We've discussed this
all over the West Country, and you come. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Tom George and his good friend Ollie Thorley. Absolutely no surprise. Gloucester Hartpury got their season off to a win last weekend against Leicester Tigers. We caught up with Gwen Crabb ahead of this weekend's fixture.
So Gwen, we're up and running in this year's competition. Just having had a couple of days to reflect on the weekend's game, how are you feeling about it?
Yeah, good. I think it was a good team performance. I think there were some areas where we lacked a bit of consistency, and I think that's something we can really look to build on in both attack and defence. But I think in parts, especially sort of start of that second half where we sort of ran in a few tries. I was looking through my clips today and it was mostly just kick off receipt because we scored so many tries back to back. But it was good to see some new faces and some younger girls really express themselves and get a chance to run out in the Prem.
Yeah, and in the first sort of half hour, Leicester, they really took it to us, didn't they? How pleased were you that we were able to turn that around and put in a really dominant second half performance?
Yeah, I think going into the game, we knew that Leicester were going to come out firing. They're a team that don't let anything slip. We knew they were going to be really competitive at the breakdown, and I think a couple of times we let ourselves down in that area. But we were able to fix those mistakes sort of on the go and come away with it. And I think we really expressed ourselves in attack in the second half, and our defence helped us do that. I think we really fronted up physically.
Yeah, and of course you've had some awful luck with injuries in the last couple of years. It must feel good to string a few games together.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, reflecting on the game on the weekend, it was probably the first game I've played in a long time that I haven't really thought about injuries, and I sort of just got into the flow of the game and really found that I enjoyed it, which for me is a big personal win. I really felt like I was a rugby player again, so that's nice. But yeah, it's kind of just, it's exciting to get going this season and hopefully get some consistent game time.
Yeah, and are you close to 100% now? Obviously after serious injuries and even after being match fit, it can take you a few games to get going. How are you doing now?
Yeah, good. I think physically, after these injuries, they've given me the chance to work on some stuff that you don't really usually get to work on mid-season. And I feel physically in the best shape I've been in for a while. Obviously, that match fitness takes a while to come back, but it's more the aches and pains post-game that's hitting me hard now. But yeah, it felt good to be out there.
Yeah, and in the squad, obviously, there's a huge number of our internationals away. How impressed were you with how this relatively young side is dealing with that?
Yeah, they've really stepped up, and I think they've really progressed and grown into themselves over the last few weeks. The power-up fixtures were great for them to sort of get that taste of what Prem Rugby might feel like, and I think they really stepped up a notch again and sort of exceeded expectations. And there was a lot of pressure going into that game as Prem champions, but we've got our first 5 points at home, so we've started off as we mean to continue.
yeah, and as one of the more senior and experienced members of the squad, especially in the pack, did you feel like you were kind of shouldering a bit more responsibility and experience there?
I think, maybe a little bit, but I think we have a lot of confidence in each other as a team, and a big theme of the week has been that everyone deserves to be here, and everyone's put their hands up to be here for a reason. And I think that sort of responsibility got shared across the squad, and some of those younger girls, have really stepped up. And I think the promising thing is that although we've got a young squad, they have got experience in under 20s across England and Wales, and within that Bucks League as well.
Yeah, and Quins this weekend, obviously it's going to be a pretty tough challenge for us. How much are we looking forward to that?
Yeah, Quins is always a good fixture, especially up at the Stoop. They're going to be hurting after the weekend, after a last-minute defeat against Exeter. That was definitely a game that they had and could have been a win for them. So they're going to be firing, but we've got to take the momentum, learn quickly. We've got a 6-day turnaround, so we are going to have to learn from those mistakes nice and quick. But yeah, I'm confident that we can go up there and put in a performance and build on what we started.